There I was, falling behind my platoon on one of the first runs during the Naval Academy's plebe summer. That's what we call our basic training. And I was falling behind not because I was incapable of keeping up with the pack. I was falling behind because I went home that summer and did exactly what they told me not to do. I went home to my parents' house in South Carolina to enjoy my mother's home cooking. I've always been a small girl who liked to eat, and so I ate my way through that summer. I ate my mother's macaroni and cheese, the stuff that she would bake from scratch, not what you buy in the blue box with the yellow writing. I ate her collard greens and her cornbread, and I do believe that I ate a lot of fried chicken. And no, I did not work out that summer as I was instructed, and so I was falling behind on the run. And as I looked ahead, I noticed a peer who had fallen much further behind her platoon. And as I caught up to her, I began to establish a better rhythm. I motivated her, offered her some words of encouragement. Come on, girl. Control your breathing. Get your legs up. Pump those arms. You see, before the day on that run, I was a competitive track athlete and a cross-country runner. I knew that within a couple of weeks, I would be back in shape and have no problem staying with my unit, even as the pace increased. But I didn't know her story or why she had fallen behind on the run. I only knew that I didn't want her to fall behind any further. As a leader, I knew that I could take what I had learned and share it with her. I knew that she was Black and she was a woman, and so I loved her before I even knew her. And such is the case with our humanity. So often we are led to see, to love, to lead those who are most like us. We start there and then we build. This run, a massive community of about 1,000 students who would eventually be commissioned as officers in the United States military and leaders of the free world, brought together two Black girls from the Carolinas in a very intimate way. From this encounter, we begin to build a relationship as friends and sisters and peer mentors. We will get commissioned as officers in the United States Marine Corps together. We will serve as witnesses at each other's wedding. Together, we have grieved the loss of parents and children. We have welcomed new additions into our families. We have built our lives and careers together. I loved her fiercely then, and I love her still. You see, I am a person who's purposed to lead with love. Sometimes I wonder, what would this world be like if we all led in this way? If we all desired to love each other as I love this friend? If we purpose in our hearts to love people before we even met them or decided the purpose that we had for their lives? What if we saw and honestly admitted that at some point in our life, all of us are falling behind the pack? And if instead of kicking up dirt or taking advantage or passing judgment, we decided to serve them as leaders and mentors and sometimes sponsors to help those who are falling behind the pack to steady their pace, to catch their breath, so they can run with the pack and finish their life's journey better than they started. And what if we did that not just because they looked like us or shared the same background and experiences, and not because they came from the same country or because they wore the same uniform, and not because they worshiped or voted like us? What if we did it just because it is the right thing to do? And if that were not motivation enough, what if we did it because we want to see the beauty of God's diversity? because we want to see in our lifetime the coming together of humanity, of people from different tribes and languages and nations and people groups. We can do this because we want to set a standard for leadership. We can do it because we want to model the example of the greatest leader that I know, who beckons us to love God and to love our neighbor. That includes our enemies. What prevents us from leading across cultures in this way? I believe there are 5 challenges to cross-cultural leadership. The first challenge is our passivity. Who we don't know. The people that we are not intentional in building relationships with. We have not asked them questions. We don't know their story. We don't know their background. The second challenge we have is our ignorance, what we don't know. The questions we haven't asked, the people of color we haven't listened to, the international neighbors we ignore, the global church that we think we haven't heard from. We haven't watched the documentaries. We haven't read the books. We don't know the history. The third challenge is our proximity, where we won't go for one reason or another. The fourth is our pride. If we are honest, we just think we're better. We are more consumed with the perception that we are falling behind the pack. The last challenge we face is our fear. Why we have been socialized or conditioned to see the other first as a threat. And I don't have time to unpack the who, the what, the where, the when, the why today. You're going to have to invite me back to have that conversation. I do want to address in our remaining time together the how. How can we be people who lead across cultures? I believe we can do this if we replace the 5 challenges I just named with 3 commitments. The first commitment that we can make is our commitment to see the other in their full humanity and to understand their condition. Sometimes we can see people and not see them. We can see them in our cubicles at work and in the grocery store and at the coffee shop and at our children's school and at church and not really know the plight of their families or the concerns of their communities. We need to commit to see people in their full humanity and to know their stories. The second commitment we can make is to have mercy on them. Literally practice the golden rule. Treat other people how you want to be treated. The third commitment we can make is to love unconditionally. See, sometimes we think that love is an emotion or a feeling. It is that. Love is also a commitment. It is a decision to sacrificially lay down our lives for the sake of the other, to put aside our selfish wants and desires for the other. At its core, leadership is about service. And across cultures, across history, across generations, without fail, this commitment to lead with love will be a leader's mark of true greatness. Thank you.